Hey you guys, this is Richard coming back at you again from my redstone world, and today we are going to do something that I normally do not do, and that is a block by block tutorial on a super useful circuit that I'd like to share with you all. This is an even distribution circuit for separating piles of items into even stacks, and you might think, how can I use this? Well, we can use it maybe in a super smelter without having to use a bunch of rails. Instead, we can use the much more expensive hoppers. So you could see from that visual just before there that all of these furnaces are empty. But if we go ahead and throw several stacks of smeltable goods into this barrel here, we'll keep an eye on our furnaces and we'll notice that each one now has one iron ore, and now each one has 2 iron ore, and now each one has 3 iron ore. And to give you a better visual of this, we can throw some coal into our coal distribution circuit, and as that gets appropriated for the furnaces, we'll see them all come to life. You'll notice that they already burned up the coal block that got deposited, but it doesn't take long until the second one hits. And now our furnaces are starting to build an even stockpile across all of them. This doesn't have to just be used for furnaces though. We could maybe use dispensers if you have a crop farm that you'd like to fill with bone meal en masse. So we can just deposit all of our bone meal from one easy location and it will evenly get distributed across all 15 of these dispensers. You'll notice here that the first one falls in, and that everywhere down the array they are having now 2 bone meals. These are guaranteed to get distributed evenly, and it relies on the game mechanic of items flowing through hoppers take roughly 1 tick. It's actually a little slower than 1 tick, but the game reads it all the same, so we can use that to our advantage. And I'm going to show you how we do that right now. We're going to need to grab some building blocks for this, and for it we will need the following: a redstone torch, a repeater, some dust, a redstone comparator, hoppers, a vessel to be evenly distributed into, and you could use a barrel if you'd like to create storage above your even distribution. But we are going to work with some furnaces, so we're going to start you guys by coming off with just a platform of blocks to start building on. And we're going to throw a bunch of furnaces on here. And you could imagine that these could be smokers or blast furnaces, chests, any vessel that you'd like filled up evenly from the same input you can do with this build. So we're going to put a fair number of these things up. You can do it for up to 15, as that's how many dusts of signal is generated by the repeater from the redstone torch. And on top of our vessels, we are going to put a hopper leading directly into the top. For furnaces, you could mirror this on the back side for the coal distribution, as seen in my example earlier. Then you could put a barrel here, but you'd need 2 more hoppers on top anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We're just going to use the hoppers for this example. You want 1 more hopper going straight into the hopper below it. And then next to those hoppers, you are going to want to set up your building blocks. And you'll want building blocks running the entire length of the array, up to 15 blocks long. We're going to set up some more. This is going to be our input hopper line right here. So face them into each other, heading towards the redstone comparator at the end of the line. And we're just going to come off here for a little input. We need redstone dust along the tops of all the blocks next to the hoppers. And of course, reading from the last hopper in the input line is a comparator, which will power a redstone torch, which in turn powers a repeater. Now, while there are nothing in the last hopper, this redstone line remains active, keeping all of our hoppers locked. But you'll notice that as we put some gold ore into our input, we're going to use a little bit more than one stack. It's going to start flowing into the system, and you'll notice that every time there is one gold ore in all the hoppers along the input, that's going to power our redstone torch for a tick and let one item flow through every hopper on the line. So the desired effect of equal distribution amongst this array can be achieved. You'll notice that we can just watch them fall in, and that along this array, every unit is keeping the same number of inputs. Now we can apply this further to our furnace array, and we can just turn this very quickly into a very compact, minecartless super smelter. So we just put a little output from our furnaces. You'll see that we can start collecting all of our smelted iron, which in this case is going to be a fair amount. So I hope you guys enjoyed this block by block tutorial. This is not something I do often because I think it's important for you all to learn on your own as you build with just knowledge of the basic concepts and mechanics. This time we're stepping out of the box, and if you like this tutorial and want to see more, leave a comment below and consider subscribing for more redstone content. This is Richard signing